Okay, I'll continue on. I just got a phone call which interrupted the video, but yeah, so this is what we call the Springfield Milling District. This roadway that separates it from Springfield, fire station. So we move along, we're in the Springfield Township. That's siding, or a spur called Brett's Boxes. The township itself hasn't got much in the way of industries. There's a team track here. Brett's Boxes at the back, which has got quite a long spur. This road directly here is where the short line engines get serviced, looked after, because it's supposed to represent a short line. This station building I built, or the depot I built, you've got to excuse my Australian terminology, it'll slip in every now and again. This was based on a Soo Line number one building, or number one depot or something. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was modified, the design a bit, and it was just an excuse to build a Soo Line building for another purpose. As we move along, everybody wanted some street trackage, so we'll go into street running. This spur here, or industry, is burns oil. It'll fit a couple of tank cars in there at any one time. The main line, for want of a better word, runs down this roadway. We've left Springfield, go past a bit of a causeway, and we come to Shelbyville. Shelbyville used to be a junction between two railroads. The one coming directly towards us, obviously, is now closed, and the track that continued on further it just ends up in the weeds and it's embargoed. And that went to North Haverbrook. The one that came straight across here, it went to Brockway. The track that continues back around the curve there is going to Ogdenville. That not installed at the moment is a backdrop along the whole scene, so that goes, the backdrop is right behind that bridge, so if you look under the backdrop you'll see a little bit of scenery, but it just goes to a storage yard behind there, or a staging yard behind there. At Shelbyville we have Roberts Printing, which is the Walthers building, the Cornerstone kit, a couple of those put together. And they're not painted, they're just the plastic put together quite quickly because we were rushing for an exhibition, and then weathered with chalks. It goes right back there, I'm not sure if you can see. The other building is the Cornerstone Northern Power and Light. We've put a spur in there. I assume it's fly ash or something that comes out of the power station and gets loaded into these hopper cars. For this layout, it doesn't really matter. It's an exhibition layout. It's for shows. As long as we've got moving trains, the general public's quite happy. Also on the front section of the layout, we have Capital City Steel, which is all based around the Walthers steel mill thing. We've got a bit of work to do on that to get it all up and running. But that's the basic oxygen furnace, the rolling mill, which is the electric furnace over the back. The access to the steel mill is through this switch here, and the back underneath that bridge. We can put a cut of about 6 cars in at any one time, go through a switch back at the back where the steel mill locos pick it up and switch. So there's not much to the steel mill as far as the trackage. We have the 3 roads into the basic oxygen furnace. The 2 that go underneath get the ladle cars. The one at the front gets the slag cars. The tracks up the high line at the very back there, they receive the raw materials for the blast furnace. There's quite a long loop here, which is where the basic switching operations are based. Over the back, the buildings are a bit out of place because we're doing some repair work. If you can see, there's the quenching tower for the coke. That track, just focused on my hand, you'll notice, but that track there goes through the backdrop, and that's where the coal gets delivered. So we can put a full coal train through there. It has to go in about 3 bites to get it in there, and we can do empties in, loaded outs, or loaded in, empties out I should say, by unloading the coal cars at the back behind the scene. The part of that coke plant there, that's just sitting at the back. It's not in position. It joins onto this building as part of the complex and sits on that base. Further up, there's random buildings here that sit against the backdrop, just the ends of buildings. Probably the largest building on the layout is the rolling mill. It's, I can't remember, 1 or 2 kits split down the middle and joined together. So it has 2 tracks that run through the whole interior of it, and one out the front. So we put gondolas, etc. in there. And then right down the back, that's the foundry. We just had a space there and wanted to put a building there, and gave me an excuse to build a little bridge at the back to hide the roadway, so we can just push the odd wagon in there for repairs, etc. Or transfer bits of equipment in there to get fixed up. It's more to help hide the main line. As you can see, there's 2 main lines up high that run right through the scene. So that's where the main action is for the public, is just the trains running through. So they appear from behind the silos in front of the foundry, and run down the length of the layout across the bridge in the middle that crosses the steel mill tracks. And then disappear through the backdrop behind the power station and everything down this end. So the idea being is that you don't see the trains coming on and off scene. Now I'll sneak around the end here. This yard was an addition. The tracks were never supposed to go through the backdrop and go into a little staging yard at the back, but we never knew when to stop building. So so we've got this small staging yard at the back for the Springfield short line. And then around further, we have the main staging yard for the mainline display. Anyway, this video is going on for hours, so I'll turn it off because none of this is actually related to the MN&S, but it's just a quick layout of what's in the shed at the moment. So the shed itself is about 60 foot long and a bit over 20 foot wide.